In case you didn't notice, there is a virus going around that has caused a global pandemic. I am a full-time musician who plays all sorts of live shows for a living. I usually play 3 to 4 concerts a week. However, all my gigs have been canceled indefinitely because of the coronavirus, so I'm performing from my apartment in an attempt to keep my music train moving through the world. Stop in and listen, say hello from a distance, and throw some money in my tip jar on your way out. Venmo, Fast Heart Mart, PayPal, fastheartmart@gmail.com. Hello and welcome to episode 3 of the Fast Heart Mart Podcast, CoVideo edition. I'm your host, Fast Heart Mart. If you want to know why I'm called Fast Heart Mart, just look it up. Today I'll be performing the song Touch of Grey by the Grateful Dead, and then I'll be playing a song I wrote called Just Getting Started. After that, I'll play a song called What a Wonderful World. It's been another intense week for me here. I've had my nose to the grindstone reorganizing my business model. I'm not complaining, I'm just saying. My life is easy though compared to all those people out in the world in the front lines. The medical people, the delivery people, the grocery store people, the emergency people. They are all the heroes out there right now, and I thank them all. I hope you get many blessings from all of this, and I don't know what else to say. It's just I feel helpless sometimes just sitting back here and watching. So I'm not watching. I'm just saying I don't know what's going on out there, and I'm just trying to do my best in here and stay out of the way so I can get through all this, and everybody can get through all this safely and peacefully and safely as possible. I even have to thank Amazon. I'm not sure if they are a good company or not, or maybe they're even the new Walmart times a trillion. But all the Amazon deliveries have been super helpful, and thank you to all the Amazon delivery drivers and all the Amazon people packing all the stuff. It's been really helpful. And a bad thought is that hopefully Amazon didn't start all this with the virus and stuff because they wanted to blow up their business. I know that's a really stupid, probably conspiracy theory that I've concocted in my brain, but I don't know. I've heard good things about Jeff Bezos, and I've heard bad things, and who knows? I don't really like to listen to any through the grapevine stuff anyway. But man, we're just in a place in the world where we don't know who to believe anymore, and who to buy from, and who to support and not support, boycott, and yada yada yada. Just try to do the best you can. I don't know. It feels good. It feels good to me to order from Amazon right now. It feels like the right thing to do, so I'm doing it. If you know of any other suggestions besides ordering from Amazon, let me know. I also encountered a problem this week where I ordered something online, which I thought was a mask. It was a really cool safety mask. And I think they tried to take my credit card number. It was not on Amazon. It was just a totally different independent site that I found actually through a YouTube video. It was a commercial on a YouTube video. And I clicked on the link and it took me to this site. And then my card was frozen because my bank thought it was fraud. And I'm not sure if it was a legit company or not. But that reminded me, I don't like to use sites if I don't know exactly what they are and who's with them. And getting your credit card frozen right now is not fun because it took me hours to get it unfrozen the other day. It took me I had to stay on the phone for hours waiting for somebody to answer the call so I can get it all straightened out. I actually did it with both of my credit cards because I tried the other one. I was stupid. I tried the other one too to buy these masks, and then that one was also declined, and they said they had fraud detection, so I don't know what happened, but I did not try to order those masks again from that site. For much of this week, I feel like I've been floating with all this happening so fast. There's so many ramifications to ponder. For one, staying healthy, of course. I know that it's only a small percentage of people who are this is fatal for. But I also know that some people are getting it very seriously ill, and they're having, I've read, I don't know anybody personally who's had it, but I've been reading and hearing that some people are having damage that lasts a while after they've been sick with this. It damages their lungs for a while, and they have to go through physical therapy and all that stuff. So it sounds terrible. If nothing else, it's better just to stay healthy as you can, because, of course, you don't want to get somebody else sick who might get it really bad and, unfortunately, God forbid, die from it. So yeah, trying to stay healthy. Vitamin C apparently is really good. And, of course, washing your hands, not touching your face, putting on a hazmat suit if you can when you go to the grocery store. Just kidding. I mean, nobody has one of those. I mean, anyway, do what you can to stay healthy. That's like a lot to think about. You come in your house and you're like, do I have viruses all over me now? And how do I get these off? I actually studied microbiology quite a bit in college, and I know what it's like to have to work in a lab. And it's overwhelming sometimes trying to think of all this stuff. Number 2 thing on my mind, I guess what I would say, is my finances. Of course, I'm all out of gigs, so thankfully I have picked up more banjo students now. People have been tipping with these videos, but I'm living off of I've got some savings, which is basically cash. And then I have credit cards. I have 2 credit cards, and I got one with Amazon too. So I guess I technically have 3 credit cards now. And it's like the question that came up for me this week is, do I use my credit cards first? Because they might actually, with all this stuff that's going on with the financial system, the credit cards might actually go down. They might just cancel credit cards. Be like, nobody's going to use credit cards now because nobody's going to be able to pay them back. So do you use your credit cards first and use your cash next, or do you use all your cash and then hopefully the credit cards are still good through all this and however long it lasts? So that's been kind of stressful dealing with that. Number 3, gardening. I have started gardening, of course. This is my tomato plant so far. I've named him Harry because he's really hairy on his stems, and he's been really good company. We talk to each other. I've never talked to a plant before in my life, but been spending a lot of alone time here in my apartment, and he's been good company. He's grown like 6 inches in a week, which is great. And I'm getting ready to transplant him outside into a 5-gallon bucket. Probably next time, one of the next videos, he'll be gone outside right out this window, which I can keep an eye on him. And then my basil plant, I'm supposed to eat it, but I want to transplant it and make it bigger. I don't know why, I just do. So growing a garden, and I've been buying buckets, 5-gallon buckets to grow my garden in. My neighbor and I, we split some gardening soil and some manure, some chicken manure, all this stuff, man. You got to think of all this stuff, and it's like you don't know when the last time anybody's going to be able to deliver anything's going to be. You don't know when things are going to stop. I don't know. That's how I feel. I hope not everybody feels that way. Hopefully everybody's just like, oh, this is just a whatever, and hopefully they're right. Hopefully this is just a simple thing. I don't know. My feeling is I need to hope for the best and prepare for the worst. That's how I feel about this whole thing. And 4th thing on my mind is making money with my music. I've worked many regular jobs in my life. I worked very hard, and I've also been playing music professionally for 20 years, full-time a few times, currently full-time musician, of course. And it's just kind of frustrating because I just got to a place with my music career where I'm sustaining myself full-time again, and I felt like I was like in a really comfortable spot with it. Like I actually could have a life outside of my music career. And then this happened, and now I'm all consumed again, like reorganizing my business for music. So that's been on my mind. And another thing on my mind is protecting myself. If, God forbid, we should slip into martial law. I don't know, man. I mean, these are kind of things I think about. It's like, I know aren't they releasing some prisoners out of the prison systems? And not that I'm like against prisoners or anything. I'm just saying, man. I mean, what if, there's just a lot of ramifications out here. If like there's martial law and people are, losing their jobs and they don't have anything to eat, like people get crazy, when that happens. And I don't know, do you buy a gun? Do you learn jujitsu? I mean, that takes a while, of course, but maybe take a couple lessons. I don't even know if you can do jiu-jitsu right now because they don't want anybody touching each other. So that's been on my mind, trying to figure that out. Even like, do I pack up my car and drive to Montana and live by a lake and fish till this thing's over or something, and just live off the land? I don't think that's really possible right now. I think it's super cold up there and there's a blizzard going on, but it's really hard to keep myself from fleeing sometimes. Another reason my head has been spinning and I feel like I'm floating is because of this darn podcast that I've started. It's a lot of work to do something like this. I feel like if you're going to do it right, I mean, I like to have good sound. I like to be entertaining as possible. I don't know. And it's something I've been wanting to do anyway, so it's good, but it's a lot of work and it's a lot to think about. And I mean, like, for instance, like, what do I want the format to be of this? This is where I'm looking for suggestions. One of the formats I thought would work is if I played all the songs first, like, don't even say a word, and just play the songs first, like 2 or 3 songs, and then go into all the talking and stuff. But then I realized, you know what, this is a podcast. People want to hear somebody talking. It's a podcast. They want to hear some stories, some banter, some jokes, some commentary. So I'm starting with some talking, and then I'm going to go into a song, and I'll do some more talking, go into another song, and then do some more talking, and go into the last song, and then end the show. I think that's the way I'm going to do this podcast. I'm still not sure, but that's a lot to think about too. But one of the things I'm realizing about this podcast is it's forcing me to look at myself and hear myself, which will ultimately make me a better musician, which is I'm really grateful for. I'm always looking for ways to become better. And this is not something I can do regularly. I don't have time for this in my regular schedule, so I'm glad. And by the way, my beard is longer than I think it's ever been in my life. I'm kind of defiantly just being like, I'm just going to grow my beard out. My beard is like really patchy and doesn't grow very fast or very thick or whatever, so we'll just see what happens with the beard. I hope it doesn't sound like I'm too concerned with the money. I've listened to some of the first 2 podcasts. And it sounds like I'm like overemphasizing the money, like tipping me and stuff like that. I'm not trying to overemphasize it. I'm just trying to let people know it's like they can, because sometimes people don't even know, like, oh, you can tip this guy, whatever. Yes, you could tip me. But at the end of the day, ultimately, I'm for real. I just play music because that's what I want to do. It's what my heart loves. It's what makes me wake up in the morning. And usually, I mean, for this whole 20-something years I've been playing music professionally, God takes care of the rest. I just do my best with the music, and God provides the rest. I think didn't Georgia O'Keeffe say something like that? Like, something, I'm paraphrasing big time, but I think she said something like, God told me if I paint this mountain every day. It was in Taos or around Taos. What is that, Albuquerque? Not Albuquerque, but that other town. I just went there with my friend Julie this summer. Anyway, she said, God just told me to paint this mountain every day, and he would take care of the rest. I feel the same way about my art and do what I do. I just do it, put it out there, and eventually it all makes sense, and it all pays off. Speaking of money, I'd like to thank Lisa in San Diego, Julie in New Mexico, Robin in Olympia, Washington, Rock and Ron in San Diego, Alyssa in San Diego, Ariana in San Francisco, Cynthia in Berlin, Cole in Boston, and Debbie in Albuquerque. They tipped me for the first 2 episodes, and it was really helpful right now, of course. And I'd like to thank all my new banjo students. I'm not going to call you out because I don't know. Maybe I can ask you if you want me to call you out. So anyway, like I said, I've been growing sprouts and growing a garden. Here's some sprouts. These are broccoli sprouts. I think I started them about 4 or 5 days ago, and I'm already eating them now. So if you want to look into getting some sprouts, I highly recommend it. It's super easy. All you do is rinse them twice a day or once a day. I do twice a day in this jar with the really nice, this lid is crucial if you ask me. You got to have this lid with the little tiny holes, because these little tiny broccoli seeds will like totally fall out of any other kind of strainer. So, and yeah, like 4 days, I got all these. I could just go ahead and eat one right now. Watch. See this? Broccoli sprouts are very spicy, and they're good for anti-carcinogenic. But just like, yeah, just put it on a sandwich, or I like to take a piece of like deli meat and roll these into that. It's really good. But you can do a lot of things. I put them on soup too. What else here? And speaking of gardening and sprouting, I'm gonna play a Grateful Dead song first. I guess Grateful Dead and hippies and stuff. I feel like I'm a hippie. I'm also other things too, but I love the hippie culture. I have to admit. I also have to admit that I'm late to the Grateful Dead party. Probably because they were not on the radio much, but I have always loved the song I'm getting ready to play. It's called "Touch of Grey." It was on when I first heard it in 1987. I must have been, I guess I was 10 years old, and it's so inspirational. Like that, I will get by. That's very affirmative, and it spoke to me, and it always has. One of my favorite songs, actually. It's got me through some very hard times, and I've been singing this a lot to myself lately. And then I figured out how to play it with the banjo. But the Grateful Dead is one of the ultimate American bands, one of the ultimate bands in the world ever. They constantly played shows, played live. They played billions of songs with different renditions, and what a great band. And they didn't put out very many like properly produced studio albums, I guess you could say. And I can totally understand why. As like live musician, you're constantly on the road and playing. It's hard to find time to sit down and produce a properly produced record. It takes a long time to do that. So I can totally relate to the Grateful Dead, and I love how they encouraged people to share their bootleg recordings of the live shows and all that stuff. And yeah, I'm really late to the Grateful Dead party, but the more I learn about them, the more I love them. And of course, Jerry Garcia's guitar playing is, I love his guitar playing, and his banjo playing he was a phenomenal banjo player. But they played live a lot, and I play live a lot, and I like playing live because it's like a sand painting. You put a lot of work into it, make it beautiful, and then the wind just comes along, blows it all away, and you got to move on and do another one. I love that aspect of it. And that brings up another point, though. People have mentioned I should be doing live streaming. I don't feel comfortable yet doing live streaming. I don't really understand the appeal of live streaming. If you can tell me why people do it, but I just kind of want to I want to make a piece of art out of these things too. Something people can listen to over and over if they want to, or keep listening to whenever they want. And also, like I said, I like the sound to be good, certain sound quality. Not that I'm saying anything about people's live streams. I think it's great people are doing it, and that's their thing. Totally respect that. Just my vision for this is a little different, and maybe I'll get to a place where I'll live stream sometime, but right now I feel like this is the best way for me to do it. So yeah, okay, I'm going to play this song called Touch of Grey. Let's see if do I have everything? Oh, I don't, hang on. I got to set up this amp. All right. Did I just show my belly just now? I'm sure I did. To edit that out. This shirt has a story behind it. My tailor, she works right down the street here, and she's great. Her name is Angel in North Park, and I can give you her information. She's really cool. She came to my birthday party a few weeks ago. But I had this idea. I hate tucking in my shirt, but I also like the way it looks when it's short. Like, because you can see your belt and all that stuff, and it just looks nice and neat. Well, I'll just tell you that story another time. But she made this shirt super short for me. Okay, I'll just tell you. So I have these shirts that have like they're called leotard shirts, and so they connect down here in your crotch. So you always your shirt is always tucked in. Shirts will not stay tucked in on me. I think I have a really long torso. So I ordered these shirts on Amazon. Actually, these they're called leotard shirts. So they're constantly tucked in and they're really comfortable. And then I wear this over top of it. And so no matter how high I reach or whatever, I still have the shirt covering up my bare skin. And it's great. And so thanks, Angel, for helping me out with that. Probably should have tuned before I started this podcast. All right.
Know the rent to send
Words and those are all obscene, but it's alright. I will get by. I will get by. I will get by. I will survive. Shoes on a hand that fits, nothing really much to it. Whistle through your teeth and spit, 'cause it's alright. Oh well, a touch of gray kinda suits you anyway. That is all I have to say, and it's alright. I will get by. I will get by. I will get by. I will survive. We will get by. We will get by. We will get by. We will survive. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. I've definitely done better versions of that song so far. But that's the way live music goes. I usually have a really good, like on the choruses, I have these really good fills with the banjo. I totally forgot to do them most of the time. Oh man. Oh well. Okay, so let me look at my notes here. Let me just put this banjo down. Let me put this banjo down. Goes the belly shot again. Belly's not that bad. I'm in pretty good shape. My belly could be a little bit better, but otherwise, I mean, I got these. I got some strong muscles going on here. I work out. Oh man, I hope I'm not being too stupid. Okay, so that was Touch of Grey by the Grateful Dead. Yeah, it just feels like that song is perfect for right now. I was actually, I don't know, tearing up like when I first started playing it, when all this started going down. I was just feeling so bad for humanity in general. Just like, I don't know, sometimes it just feels frustrating, man. You know, we try to move forward, and I really think this is going to bring a lot of positive change in the end. But right now, man, it's like pretty, it's pretty confusing. If nothing else, it's pretty confusing, I think. And but yeah, we'll learn. So yeah, I'm just hoping it's not too late to sing this song, that song, Touch of Grey, because I don't know. I think yesterday I heard Donald Trump was saying he wants to get everybody back to work, get the economy back up and running and stuff. And I've said it before. I'm not for or against Donald Trump. I'm not for or against any of these politicians. I don't think any of them can really do much because it's just so complicated. I don't think Donald Trump's a great spokesman for this country, of course. I don't appreciate that about him, but who knows about whatever else. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's going to be able to do everything right all the time. And I definitely do not envy him for being in this position right now. Whatever the heck is going on. And I just like to say too, I'll probably say this a lot in my podcast, but I think it's important. The most important thing is just to everybody respect each other's opinions and their beliefs. No violence, including yelling. I think violence, yelling and getting loud can be a form of violence. You just want to listen to somebody and either don't accept it or listen to the good parts, something. But you don't have to shun somebody for their opinion and what they think. That's what makes the world go round, I think, people. We have all these people with their own ideas, and everybody contributes. It's the perpetual duality of life. There's constant dualities all the time in life. The yin yang, if you will, the dark and the light, Democrat, Republicans, male, female. There's always a duality, and that's what's beautiful about things. It's always two sides, balance, you know. And so I would like to say, I don't think it's a good time that we go back to work and get everything back up and running. I don't think that's a good idea right now. But hey, what do I know? I'm going to respect everybody else's opinion too. And if everybody wants to go back full force, do it. Hey, whatever. That's cool. I'm just saying, I don't think it's a good idea. I know people are saying, you know, South Korea, they haven't had to do much or whatever. They haven't had a problem. But here's the thing with South Korea, as far as I understand it. South Korea started testing very early in this thing. They had tests going around. They've experienced these kind of things before. The United States has never experienced like a virus like this, maybe since 1918 or something. And so we weren't prepared. South Korea and a lot of other Asian countries, they've been through this before. And so right as soon as they got word, they started testing. And so they could tell who had it and who didn't. They could quarantine those people who had it and attend to them and make sure they got back to good health, because their health system or the healthcare system was still in good working order at that time, so they could take care of those people, those few people who had it. And then furthermore, they implement face masks. They'd go for the face masks like right away, and the testing and the social distancing, I think. And so they've been through this before. And so, yeah, they look great. They're doing really well. They're like a shining light of example of how to do this thing. But the United States, though, on the other hand, we've never really been through this. We didn't have the tests. I don't know who's to blame, or I'm not trying to blame anybody. It's done. It doesn't really matter now. Also, just like did this thing start naturally or by a bioweapon? I don't think that's really relevant right now. Let's just move forward and like get on this thing and solve this problem, and then we could figure that out later if we want. But yeah, for now, we just didn't have the test. We didn't have the masks. And so here we are. And now I don't know how many people in the United States are officially infected with this, and there's how many people are unofficially infected, but that is the case. And so I think it's better if we stay separated, isolated as much as possible. I do think it's a good idea to wear masks, even if it's just a bandana or whatever. I know they're not 100% effective, but all the research I've done with for masks and stuff, not that I'm like an authority on the subject, but anything is better than nothing. Just cover your mouth. I use this. It's crazy because this is about the only thing I feel. I go into the store with this thing on, and I tuck it into I put it in my necklace, and sometimes I even put this is crazy, probably sounding, but I put some whiskey right here, because whiskey is an antiseptic or antimicrobial. So a little bit of whiskey would help a little bit too, and also it's just kind of fun to have whiskey. You're huffing whiskey as you go through the grocery store. It's kind of neat. Also, I mean, this probably looks pretty criminalistic going through the grocery store like this, but this is what I got. I don't know what else I would use. But I definitely wouldn't go into the bank like this. Probably, maybe I would. I don't know. You could try it. It might be fun. Definitely wouldn't try to buy a gun like this, or maybe I would. I don't know. But yep. So put on a face mask that's my opinion on this thing. I know we have so far. We've kind of got this. I guess you could say. We have a stigma against the face masks. It means like something's wrong with you if you have a face mask on, which that's normal to think that way. I think we have to change that though. That perception, just like a lot of the Asian countries have done, where somebody has a face mask on. Maybe it means they're being considerate. Like, hey, I'm sick, and I'm trying not to get you sick. So you could thank that person from afar. Be like, hey, thanks for wearing a mask, dude. That's awesome. Also, I wanted to mention, they're out of sanitizer spray just about everywhere, I think, still. I don't know. Lysol. You can make your own. I looked this up. This woman recommends like clear, clear vinegar and vodka and peppermint essential oil with a little bit of water. I don't have any clear vodka. I don't really like vodka. And I didn't have any clear vinegar. I don't know if you can get any vinegar yet, but I used apple cider vinegar and whiskey in mine in this little spray bottle with some water and about 15 drops of peppermint essential oil. And this stuff, I spray it on myself when I come home. I could spray it on like the Amazon boxes. Just trying to disinfect things. It's just a little helpful hint from me, hopefully, on that. Yep. Yeah, so this whole thing with wear a mask, don't wear a mask, is there a virus out there, is not a virus out there, where did the virus come from, what's it going to do? All this stuff has raised a lot of issues for a lot of people around here and around the world. Like what's going on? And it's pretty intense. It's an intense vibe sometimes. I feel like I can kind of relate to what people maybe were like feeling in the Civil War, when it's like they're being fed all this propaganda. Like if you're in the South, the propaganda was probably like, hey, the North is coming to take all your land. You got to pick up a gun and fight, and if you're on the North, they're like, yeah, the Southerners, they're coming. They're gonna take all the goods and not share them with us or whatever. We got to go down there and steal everything. Or I don't know what. I'm not pretending to be a Civil War expert, but what I do know of it, and what I do know of just about every war, it's basically a huge case of peer pressure where people are like, you got to go fight or else you're a coward. And of course we know better. Hopefully we know better than that now. And also, I mean, it's not easy if you're drafted into a war. It's not easy to be a conscientious objector, and I have much respect for those people who are, and I have respect for people who went and fought too, because, I mean, I don't want to be put in that position either. But it's like that. I mean, also the McCarthy era, which I understand of it, where people were being blacklisted for being so-called communists. I think we're getting into that territory now, and I don't think that's a good idea. It's really never a good idea. We don't want to do that to each other. Like, if somebody's wearing a face mask and you're not, just be like, hey, cool, they feel like there's a threat, and so they want to wear a face mask. That's cool. And if somebody's not wearing a face mask, I'm just like, hey, that's their thing. Hopefully they don't get within 6 feet of me. If they do, just politely ask them, hey, man, can you mind just backing up a little bit? I'm trying to stay healthy here. So yeah, it's like that's coming down, man. That's all coming down right now, and it's intense for me anyway. I think it is for other people too. Like I said, I hope for the best and I prepare for the worst. Another thing is I'm concerned that they're gonna stop covering this so much in the news. You don't hear so much from other countries in the news these days. I haven't seen it too much lately, like what's actually happening in other countries. And this is something that happens too when major issues come up in the world. The news will like sensationalize it for a week or two, and then people just get sick. They just don't want to hear about it anymore. Like, I've heard it over and over and over. So the news will like morph into something else, And I don't think that's a good idea here. I really don't. I noticed it happened when I participated in Occupy D.C., Washington, D.C., back in 2011. And it was like all this news coverage for a couple of weeks. And then all of a sudden, the news just stopped covering it. The cops shut it down because there was no news coverage anymore, or vice versa. I don't know what happened, but the whole movement just disappeared within like a week or two. It was so weird. And that was different. I mean, this is like serious. People could get, hurt here. So we got to be careful what happens here, I think. Speaking of the news, if you want what I think is a level-headed view of this pandemic and coverage of it, there's a YouTube channel called Peak Prosperity that I've been watching, and I feel like the guy is very level-headed. He does kind of say like people should be required to wear masks and stuff like that. I'm not sure that's really where we need to go with this. Even though, if you think of it, we're required to wear clothes. We can't walk around without clothes on, or else they're going to take us to jail. So why not, in times of a virus scare or a virus pandemic, be required to wear a mask? I don't know if we all had masks anyway. So there's that. And then this all feels very serious right now. So I'm going to get to this song here in a second. Hopefully that lifts the vibe a little bit. Yeah, let me just play the song now, and then I'll tell a couple. Maybe I should tell a couple jokes now. I'll do some jokes. By the way, speaking of jokes, thanks to everybody for sending me the Steve Martin banjo video that's been going around. I've had about 5 or 10 people send it to me, and it's really sweet. Don't get me wrong. Thank you for everybody for thinking of me, but it's also interesting because it's like it's almost like as if you were maybe a nurse or something, and you got footage of another nurse, like somebody's sending you footage of another nurse at their job, being like, "Look at this nurse doing," and it's like, well, that's great, but I'm being a nurse too. So what? Anyway, I'm weird like that though. So anyway, thanks for sending it, but please don't send. Nobody else send it to me. I've seen it enough. I also get a lot of people send me banjo jokes all the time, and it's like usually like it'll be like a duplication of them too. Like 6 or 7 people will send me the same banjo joke in like a series of 3 days. I don't mean to sound like an ingrate here, but yeah, it happens. And so part of this podcast I'd like to do is the joke time. People always say my jokes are like dad jokes. I don't understand what that means, dad jokes. I don't, except for maybe there's no cussing or something, or there's no profanity or no like graphic content. I don't know what it is, but so if they're dad jokes, whatever. I told this dad joke at my party a few weeks ago. I'll tell it again here. And it's the worst dad joke of all time. It's the most heinous dad joke of all time. I hope I can say. I'm going to bleep it out because there is a cuss word, but what is wrong with all dads? They're all motherfuckers. All right. So there's that joke. Thank you. Thanks. I wrote that one myself. I'll tell you a couple jokes I did not write. I don't know who did. Let's see. Did you hear about those? Well, I don't want to tell that one. I've told that one so many times. What am I going to tell? A gardening joke? A plant joke? I know like an old farmer's joke, but it's really long. Is there any? Do I have any? There's dogs barking outside. Do I have any dog jokes? I can't think of any jokes at the moment. Maybe I'll think of some later. Maybe that one was enough for this podcast for one episode. That was a big one. Okay, here comes a song. It's called "Just Getting Started." It's a song I wrote recently. Actually, it's a song I wrote about a year ago, but people didn't appreciate the lyrics. And I'm not going to talk about what they were, but they didn't appreciate it. So I've rewritten it. And I was actually writing it about being in my 40s now, and the societal pressure that comes with that. I feel like in my 40s, I've just caught my wind. I'm in the groove here. And so that's what this song's about, just getting started after I turned 40. I wasn't thinking about how maybe this pandemic is just getting started. I don't know hopefully it's just getting ended. I really do. I hope it's coming to an end. But my gut feeling is telling me it's just getting started. I don't know.
Life is over and the phone has departed.
look at me now, I'm just getting started. It's been a long ride in this life of mine. Many years I froze out in a heartache, lost in the desert, down and broken hearted. Look at me now, I'm just getting started. There's been many times didn't think could survive. By the grace of God, I've been lion-hearted. Hard-working spirit my parents imparted. Look at me now, I'm just getting started. Some people believe after 40 life is over and the fun has departed. That is a opinion I have outsmarted. 'Cause look at me now, I'm just getting started. Look at me now, I'm just getting started. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. And that's it. That's all I had to talk about today. So I'm going to end this on a very beautiful song that I did not write. But Louis Armstrong made it famous, and he did not write it either. It's called What a Wonderful World. And it might be a weird time to play this song, but it's actually not, because we all know that life is always about seeing the bright side of everything. And look how beautiful the sky has become lately, and all the environment is cleaned up. It's like God himself or herself has come down and stopped it all. Said, like, hang on, y'all. Got to clean this place up. Y'all are getting out of control. Stop what you're doing. We're going to clean it up. That's the wrong one. Hang on. That's the fast version of this song that I have. I'm going to do the nice slow version. Well, half slow, half fast. Here we go. see trees green, red roses too. I see them blooming for me and for you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed day and the dark sacred night. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. All the colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky. They're also on the faces of all these people passing by. I see friends shaking hands, asking, how do you do? They're really saying is, I love you. I hear babies crying, and I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I will ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Too. I see them blooming for me and for you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue, clouds of white, bright blessed day and a dark sacred night. And I think to myself, all the colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky. Also on the face of all these people passing by. I see friends shaking hands, asking, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. They'll learn much more than I will ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Thanks so much, everybody. Good night. See you tomorrow, God willing.